Welcome to Coffee on the Couch. Coffee on the Couch. Hi, Couchside Coffee. I'm super excited for all three of our guests today. We have a big crowd here. So we are going to talk to the Special Olympics of Missouri. I believe it's just the Wentzville district, though. Are you guys all the Wentzville district, or Jocelyn, are you just like everything?
I am in the St. Louis office.
St. Louis office.
All
Okay.
8 counties around St. Louis.
Okay, so we have Jocelyn, who's the director. We have Marcus, who is like an all-star athlete. He does, we'll get into it, but he does literally every sport you can think of. And then Sherry, she is the coach of all coaches, right? You're the coach of the coaches?
I'm the director of the program, yes.
Director of the program. So without further ado, I have lots of questions for you guys. So let's just dive in. I'm so excited. PJ's was one of the businesses that helped with the polar bear, the polar plunge. So we sold the polar bear, but now I'm blanking on your mascot's name. What was his name?
Shiver.
Shiver.
Shiver bear.
I should remember that. So we asked our customers as they came in, like, hey, would you like to donate? And so I think we raised I think it was almost $400. I think it was like $365.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that went to the Lake St. Louis PD's fundraiser.
Right.
We were trying to yoke them up a little bit to compete with the other police departments.
Yes.
So I don't really know how they did compared.
I think they came in 3rd.
Oh, not too bad.
I mean, some of the PDs are so huge.
They're big, yeah.
St. Charles County came in 1st, and
Okay.
they raised like $15,000 or something crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay. So we did our introductions. Tell me, and anyone can speak up or you all can talk on this. This is just like whoever wants to chat, right? Tell me how the Special Olympics of Missouri promotes inclusion and awareness within our community, the state, the athletic community.
Well, I think around basketball, we do inclusion with the schools that come in with unified partners. So we have like a lot of unified teams that do all the sports like bowling, basketball. Mm-hmm. So I think that is a great opportunity for a lot of part of the inclusion from the school districts.
Yeah.
I think they've been trying to get more schools to be more involved.
I mean, I would say statewide and nationally, the big push is like starting our students as young as possible, getting to understand just inclusion in the schools.
Sure.
So we're supported by a Unified Champion Schools grant through the Department of Education, where they're really funding the most inclusive programming that they have possible in all the schools that we have access to.
Yeah.
So within St. Louis, there's a lot of special school district schools that we're in, and a lot of our St. Charles area schools are doing inclusive programming. And that just means like their student councils are inclusive with students with and without disabilities, or they're doing like a dance that's inclusive. So just cool. Whatever they can do within their school to make sure everyone's included. And then like Sherry mentioned, unified sports is big. There's a division for unified in every sport that we offer, so I don't know what like unified is. Can you explain that real fast? So athletes with and without disabilities play on the same team.
Okay.
For basketball specifically, they have more athletes than unified partners on a team, but they're kind of coaching and assisting socially and athletically on the same team by having unified partners that don't have disabilities.
Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then also too, Wentzville School District, the STUCO programs, which is awesome. They do a lot of fundraising, which kind of helps and gets the community together.
Yeah.
We do a Somo basketball event every year around January, so it's kind of nice, and they do a big fundraiser during the basketball games, and then our guys get to play during halftime, so it's kind of super cool.
Oh, so did you get to play this year?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
We've been doing it for about, 5-6 years now. So.
That's really cool. So Wentzville has 4 high schools, so do you do like a game at each high school, or is it like specific to one?
We just do it at Holt High School. We just kind of partner up with the STUCO there.
That's cool. That's really cool. I like hearing that. What challenges do you guys face to keep this program running or expanding? I know we talked, you guys said you had a lot of athletes. So do you have to recruit athletes? Like, I know you guys do all the fundraising. Tell me about some challenges that you guys might have to keep this program running or growing.
I don't have any challenges. I get a lot of offers. Like a lot of people come that moved maybe to Wentzville, or I think the big challenge is getting my name out there, because I know a lot of parents don't know a whole lot about my program in the Wentzville School District. So I've just been kind of working on ideas to try and get it promoted more. But yeah, so it's growing. It's growing. The school's growing, and the city's growing. So I think that's where my struggles are, because it doesn't get promoted as much through their district, and we're trying to improve that. So
Like, it kind of, because it's growing so fast, it kind of
gets lost a little bit.
gets lost. That's a good word. Okay.
But a lot of word of mouth is my parents, which is, I have
Sure.
a lot of good parents out there that are very supportive for my program, and they kind of spread the word to other people, and then that's how they contact me. So.
And we can put the website or however they contact you in our show notes. So I'll make sure to get that from you after. Any other challenges that you guys face?
On my side, I think it's more coaches kind of aging out of the program. So Sherry's been an amazing coach for, I think she decided, how many years?
This is my 18th year.
18 years.
Wow, okay.
We have a number of other coaches that are in the same boat. They've been doing this since they got in the program 25, 30 years ago. And so as they leave or retire or move on, we have growing numbers of athletes. So how do we recruit enough coaches to support those programs as they move on?
Okay. So again, I'm sure your website has everything, like how to enter an athlete, how to be a coach. So we'll make sure that's definitely in our show notes.
Right.
In case anyone's interested in coaching.
Yeah.
But that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I would love that.
Can you tell me, what sports do you guys do? Every sport? Like,
we in the St. Louis area offer 13 different sports.
Okay.
So team sports like soccer, volleyball, basketball, individual sports like bowling, swimming, and track. And then we have some that are kind of small for us, like equestrian and alpine skiing. But
wow. Okay.
things that we have some interested parties that can kind of make that happen. Like Hidden Valley is where the skiing program happens.
Sure.
And
yeah.
that can't really happen anywhere else in the...
Marcus, I'd kind of like your thoughts on this. How does the Special Olympics support athletes beyond just sports?
We've become a big family.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
in between our competitions, we actually sit down and hang out with each other. So we've become like more brothers and sisters and athletes.
Sure.
It's just a big whole family.
Does the program offer, like, I think I read something maybe about leadership programs. Is that right?
Yes. So we've started offering more of what we call total athlete programming, where we're trying to think of ways to really develop the person as a whole. We do everything from healthy athlete screenings to prepare athletes for sport to a leadership program. There's an athlete leadership program that teaches our athletes community leadership skills or public speaking skills. Marcus had mentioned years ago that he would not feel comfortable or be able to do something like this.
It's hard, yeah.
And maybe through Special Olympics, he's kind of learned those skills to do more of a speaking role or share his thoughts about what Special Olympics means to him.
Yeah. You're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more of a mature athlete now, so
Yeah, for sure.
I'm the example.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Tell me about roles that volunteers play, and how do you see a need for more volunteers? Like how can they volunteer? Those types of things.
We're an office of two to make 25 events happen every year, 25 competitions. It really is volunteer driven, and that's everything from the coaches of our teams. There are some that are supported by school districts like the Wentzville program, but a lot are volunteers just from the community or parents of athletes.
Yeah.
And then all of our events are really volunteer driven. Holt High School volunteers at flag football, for example. So we hold it at the high school, and their students are helping as scorekeepers and registration and awards volunteers. So every different competition that we're hosting has a lot of volunteer assistance. And then I think our coaching volunteer spots are probably our biggest role.
Sure.
I got a good support of volunteer coaches, and they're probably the best to have because I couldn't do it without them, with all the 80-something athletes I have. And I do have a lot of parents that, of course, are the athletes of their parents, and they spend their time every week coming out and helping out with, flag football to basketball and then, bowling, and they kind of help pick up the slack if I'm not there or if one of my other coaches are not there. So I'd like to give a good shout out to them because, it wouldn't be possible without them sometimes too. So
That's great. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
Yep.
But you were always welcome to volunteers, right? So if someone wants to volunteer,
yes,
come on over.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We love
Gotcha.
volunteers.
Okay. I would like to hear from each of you, if you don't mind, a special, memorable experience or story that highlights your time with the Special Olympics. I'm sure, 18 years, you probably have a gazillion.
Yeah, I got a lot of good memories. I think my best memory was when we had at Columbia, and it was outside. We had our dance, and I think the dances are the biggest events anyway, besides the sports, because the athletes look forward to dance every year. They bring change of clothes, and I think that's the most memorable of all of them. That love that. And it was so much fun. It was out at the campus. It was outside. We had the band. I had a live band.
Oh, that's so fun. So it's not like a dance competition. It's like a dance for them.
Dance.
That's cool.
They give a dance every out-of-town trip or every state event. We have a scheduled dance. And I think that was probably my most memorable. But, we have some dorm life, too. That's a lot of fun. And, it gets kind of crazy. But I can't really say on camera. But no, it's. I think that was probably my most memorable. It was probably the Columbia.
What about you, Marcus? Do you have a memory that sticks out?
I have to say, back in high school, I kept on getting cut from the high school team. So somehow gave me something where I could actually go out and play a sport.
Sure.
So it's just
been
a whole part of my life.
Didn't you go to state games one year for track or something?
That was 06. I went all the way to Ames, Iowa.
That's awesome.
Third in a mile.
Okay.
The whole state.
Okay. That is awesome. It's a big deal.
That was the first one from St. Charles County.
Okay. That's really cool.
That's amazing.
Hopefully, if I ever get the chance to go in, I will. But if I don't, I did it once, so.
That's really cool. What about you, Jocelyn?
I met my husband through Special Olympics, so that's probably my biggest takeaway, right?
Sure.
But one of my best memories, the first thing that I went to when I was on staff was a check presentation that one of the school districts was doing, and they had invited an athlete that was a student in that district to join me, and I had never met him, but he was the most welcoming person in the room, and it was so sweet to just he was already welcoming me to the family, and I was new to staff, but it was just super impressive. That kind of set the tone for the rest of my employment, that Special Olympics was always so welcoming and social. Even the athletes that are maybe nonverbal are reaching out in some way to connect.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing those. Jocelyn, these questions are for you. So we're going to put you on the hot spot for a few minutes.
Okay.
I have specific questions for each of you. So we'll start with Jocelyn. We talked about your role.
Yes.
You said there's two of you. So that's you and Sherry?
Myself and Kellen are in the St. Louis office.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we have different offshoots with all of our teams. There's about 150 teams in the St. Louis area that we kind of help facilitate things for. But as far as paid staff that are in the office, it's Kellen and I.
Okay, perfect. What inspired you to work for the Special Olympics?
I had always been in sports programming in some way throughout my career. I started in the area in minor league sports, and I worked for the Missouri River Otters.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the St. Louis Steamers at the Family Arena.
Yeah.
And then moved to Chicago and did kind of a VETA sports facility type job there. So when I moved back to the St. Louis area, all of those were very for-profit and kind of more about the dollar than the meaningful aspects of sport and athletics.
Sure.
So this just kind of made sense to utilize those skills, but also give back to that athletic community.
That's really cool. What event did you meet your husband at? I was just curious.
He was training as a softball coach, and I was running the training, so we met there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good story. What goals does the Special Olympics have? Like any future goals?
In
do you see coming
Missouri,
up?
we have 3 main goals. So we're working to recruit as many new athletes as we can, or just make sure that everyone knows that this is an outlet for their child
Sure.
or someone that they know in their family with a disability. We want to raise as many dollars as we can to support those programs. And then we have a goal of getting out and telling our story, just making sure that, like you're doing here today, everyone understands the impact of Special Olympics, and
Sure.
you probably know someone that's involved or could be involved, and just connect those dots.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. All right, Sherry, you ready?
Sure.
We already talked about this off camera, but you are the director, right? So, but what do you coach? You also coach as well, correct?
So yeah, I'm the director of the program, and so what I do is I oversee 6 sports, and we have bowling, basketball, bocce ball, track and field, powerlifting, and flag football. So I kind of organize all that. I work a lot with Jocelyn on paperwork and making sure everything gets in on time. And then I've also oversee some of the coaches that I have that actually will coach, and I kind of organize their sports and the schedules and practice time. And I also go through the school district to make sure we have our facilities. And then it's pretty crazy. It's fun and I enjoy it.
Is that is that a volunteer position?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm a salary paid. And I have
God, I was like,
well,
oh, you're saying it.
well, I would do it for free if I had
Yeah.
to. But my 2 assistant coaches also are paid coaches.
Okay.
I wish I can get more paid coaches, but unfortunately we don't have
Sure.
the funds for that. But like I said, my volunteer coaches are wonderful as well.
Yeah.
And, one of my new coaches this year, Lauren Yeartage, she came to me after her high school year, and now she's one of our assistant coaches. So she's been helping since she's graduated.
That's
And
cool.
then Kyle Johnson is another assistant coach. And actually we played, I coached softball back in the day at Timberland, and we actually coached together.
Okay.
So I kind of know Kyle. He came back to the district, and then he applied for the other position. And but yeah, they've both been a big asset this year, because I did lose 2 coaches last year who also were wonderful, and they were with me for 17 years. So now I have 2 new coaches, and it's been going great, and we're having a good season, and I can't ask for better help than all of them. And then my athletes, of course, they're wonderful too. So.
What inspired you to be a coach?
Well, I've coached all my life, pretty much since I got out of high school and out of college, and I did a lot of, I coached for Visitation Academy, coached softball there. I was district champ for 3 years there, and then I came to Wentzville, to school district, and I also was coaching softball and basketball in the Wentzville school district, and then opportunity opened up to be a coach for Special Olympics as well as while I was coaching, so that's when I took the advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I worked in the, as a life skills coaches, or life skill teacher in the schools, and then kind of got my name out there and got hired. So it's been great. It's been a good ride, and I love it. So
Did you have to adapt your coaching techniques in any way?
yeah, I mean, you have to kind of modify our level depending on the skill level
Sure.
we have. So of course, the athletes, we have some real strong athletes, and we also have some athletes that really need some assistance, and we just we work on there with the assistance they need, and we also, the volunteers is kind of nice because we also have people that can help them in the games, and it's been great.
What's your most rewarding aspect?
Just getting to spend the time with my athletes,
Yeah.
We haven't gone on much road trips. Our road trips were a lot of fun as well.
Okay.
But just spending time with them, and it's just very rewarding, and we have a good group, and
Do you think the road trips will start back up? Because you mentioned it was due to COVID.
Yeah, well, every 4 years it gets relocated. So depending on what sport it is,
Oh, okay.
we'll get relocated. So we're not sure after this year where we'll be for our big sports. I think they might be making some changes, but we'll see.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How do you foster teamwork among the athletes?
I don't know. I mean, we kind of get together, sometimes off the field too
Sure.
as well. But mostly, at our practices, we kind of work a lot of teamwork. At the end of the year, I have, a party at the end of the year for them,
Oh,
and things
that's
like that. So,
Yeah. And that dance probably helps,
Yeah.
don't you think?
Yeah, we actually had a Hawaiian luau a couple years ago, and that was a lot of fun. You know.
sounds fun. For sure.
But most of the dancers, when we go on trips, they love all this stuff.
Okay.
So.
And then, how does your team celebrate both big and small achievements?
Well, we celebrate just about the same. I mean,
Okay.
You know, they get an award every time they get like a placement. They get like a medal, and they all love their medals. You know, even small or big. You know, if you're individual sport and a team sport, they still get a medal.
And then, I mean, this just goes for anything, but like, how do you think sports teaches life lessons?
Well, I think them learning from us gives them a life skill. You know, a lot of it's life skills. You know, and you know, we teach them. We treat them just like any other person, and we don't give them any special treatments. And we have to modify what their levels are, what sport they play. But we teach them as a person. You know, they're just like me and you. They do have a different disability, but it's fun. I mean, it's a great disability, and they're wonderful. And I'd be all their moms if their moms would let me have them.
That's awesome. All right, Marcus, you ready?
Yep.
All right, I got lots of questions for you, sir.
All right.
Okay, so tell us, I already talked to you before we started filming. Talk to me about all the sports you play.
Let's see. Let's start off with my favorite one is probably basketball.
That's your favorite?
Because there's more athletes involved in it.
Okay.
So it's more fun.
Yeah.
And it's all about having fun. And that's my number one goal when I'm playing. Don't matter if against somebody or with my team, I make sure everyone's having fun, even the other team.
Okay.
That's my number one goal. Fun, fun, fun.
I like it.
If everyone can get a gold medal, that'd be the best thing. But we all can't. But
Sure.
number one goal is to have fun.
Okay. What other sports do you play?
There's softball, bowling, there's bocce, there's powerlifting. There's,
You play all these?
I have, yes.
Wow. Okay. And you still do track? Because you just told me you were a track star in high school. Okay. Basketball is your favorite. How did you become an Olympic athlete?
It was the beginning, like going into high school, and
Okay.
then I kept on getting cut from like other sports teams, like the school teams, and I was like always down, and I was like, that gave me a reason to go out and have fun again. Pretty much all my friends are sumo athletes, so
Okay.
if it wasn't for sumo, I would probably just be one of those home shell people that wouldn't get out.
Yeah,
So,
you don't seem like that person to me. Yeah.
sumo.
You seem very social. Like you like being out and about. How old were you?
I'm 37 years old, and
How
I
old?
started when I was maybe 15.
15. Okay. So you're like a lifelong athlete, Olympic athlete. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's probably one of our probably longest athletes that we've had in the program, along with a few others we have.
That's
so,
cool.
and I think piggyback off him saying not making a high school sport. That's what's good about Special Olympics, is that there's sports out there for students that can't succeed in the varsity level or the JV level, and this is what brings them together, and I think it's very rewarding for a lot of these kids, and it's more comfort zone for them than trying to play a high school sport because they might not be good enough or whatever, but that school level is where they should be, and so yeah, that's what's nice about that.
Hi, Jamie here from PJ's Coffee in Lake St. Louis. We are offering BOGO deals Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. We are doing it as like a little after-school treat after work. What's better than one drink but 2 drinks? So make sure you stop by and get your special treat after work or school. Thanks, bye. You kind of touched on this a little bit, but how has being part of the Special Olympics impacted your life? Like you just told us that you would probably be at home and down, right? So
I wouldn't be sitting here, that's for sure.
yeah, I'm glad you're here.
10, 15 years ago, I was really, really shy. I wouldn't talk at all.
Okay,
But with Samo, it gave me a reason to open up to people.
okay.
And I actually brought athletes to her program or to her that wanted to be involved. But like 5 years ago, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't do anything.
Okay,
But now, since I'm older, it's totally different.
yeah.
He's a good leader for our program. He's one of our better leaders.
And then there's about 26 athletes where I work. They bring in special need employees
Okay.
to work along with regular employees.
And so your employees that work with you are also, some of them are also athletes?
Yes.
Okay. And then you brought them on through your work? So you're like the Special Olympics recruiter.
Right?
Yep.
You should make them pay you. How do you prepare for a competition?
The more fun I have that's all that really matters.
Okay. So you don't get nervous competing?
No.
That's awesome. Do you have any other athletes that do get nervous? Do you
I
help
believe
them?
so.
Yeah.
But I think they feed off of the ones that aren't nervous.
Sure.
So they just follow our lead pretty much. Like
Makes
the older
sense.
athletes help out the newer athletes.
That's awesome. You talked about how you guys become family. So my next question was, what friendships or connections have you made?
Well, like I said, I've been here almost pretty much half my life.
Yeah.
I see them all as my brothers, sisters, cousins.
Do you guys hang out outside of?
A lot of us do.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you guys like to do outside of sports?
We actually go bowling a lot.
Do you? Yeah.
Play more sports.
Play more sports.
Play more sports.
We'll
them
go
off
and
the
shoot
bowling alley.
basketballs and just,
Yeah. Hang out.
talk about someone.
I gotcha. How has your coach supported you through your athletic career?
I've had ones that when I first started, they just stayed to themselves. They didn't really help the athlete.
Okay.
So now that Sherry's involved, more of the coaches are actually helping us instead of making us learn on our own. Because some of the athletes can't do that.
Yeah.
They'll end up going away, which obviously none of us want that.
Oh, because they feel like they don't get the help that they need, so they'll stop competing. Is that what you mean? Yeah, we don't want that. What are your goals for the future in both sports and beyond?
I'm gonna play until I physically can't, obviously. But if I get to the point where I can't play anymore, I don't mind coaching and getting in and all that. But I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
Yeah. Okay. And what message or thoughts would you like to share with others about the Special Olympics?
Come out, have fun. If you want to volunteer. But most of our volunteers end up staying anyways, so we don't really call them volunteers. We're just
They're part
extended
of the family.
family.
That's awesome. Do the volunteers have just as much fun as the athletes?
I think some of them do.
Yeah.
Like when they actually get to sit there and get to know us, because they actually follow us around to our competition. So they're sitting there taking it all in.
Yeah.
And then they just become part of the family. And then some of them just keep coming back. It doesn't matter what sport we're doing. They'll come and volunteer just to interact with the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had another volunteer too. I probably didn't mention him. Was Justin, and he's one of our flag football coaches, and he's been with us since our flag football team has started. And he actually coaches in the right city, and he's wonderful too. So they come and stay, and they like to keep volunteering every year. So that's really nice to have that.
That says a lot about your organization, that your athletes want to stay and your volunteers want to stay. So that speaks volumes, I feel like, for your directors and your coaches.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I enjoy it, and like I said, I think get a lot of respect from our athletes too.
Yeah.
And I think we respect them as well. So I think that's the big thing too.
For sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it gives them an outlet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys said your athletes, everything's funded for them, right? So what, as far as like fundraisers, tell us about some of your fundraising events.
The polar plunge is our biggest.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a big amount of support from local groups like Knights of Columbus and local law enforcement. So the Polar Plunge was an event put on by law enforcement, and there's a lot of those throughout the year where we're their charity of choice. So they're doing events to fundraise for us. That money goes back into the programming. So the events that I'm putting on or these competitions that athletes are participating in are funded by those dollars that are raised in the community.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
And then Sherry's team kind of falls under the St. Louis office umbrella. And so while our programming is mainly free, there's cost into hosting a team, like transportation, uniforms, sporting equipment, that does kind of fall back on each individual team. So they're doing local fundraising to support their team and those efforts to then go on to competition.
Okay. Do you have any fundraisers going on right now for your team?
We don't have any coming right now. Like I said in the past, we've had some money donated, which has been a big support, and it's kind of nice because we don't have to do a fundraiser. But we had one, I think, recently about a year ago at Texas Roadhouse, and they've been kind of a big support too.
They do a lot. Yeah.
And then, of course, our Knights in the St. Paul and the Josephville area, Josephville, Missouri. But our biggest expense is transportation because we can't take the school buses because of the alumni we have that have graduated. So our big expense is transportation, and some in uniforms too as well, along with our equipment.
Yeah.
So it adds up, and cost of living is going back up, and just.
So if someone was wanting to donate monetarily, do they reach out to you? Is this like a website?
They can just reach out to me directly, and then the check would, of course, make it to the Wentzville School District, and we just put that in our account.
Okay. And we'll I'll get that from you as well, and we'll post that in the show notes.
We always help with volunteering and donations is acceptable.
Yeah, we want to make sure these athletes can stay competitive, right?
Get them attire, and they get to wear apparel, and
yeah,
get her name out there. And I think one of my parents just recently joined because she saw a sticker on a car that said Wentzville Special Sports. And
there we go. That's really cool.
Did some research, and now the athlete's with me. So
okay. How can someone learn more about your organization?
Yeah, they can just email me or go to the Wentzville School District homepage under parent information, and there's Wentzville Special Sports tab. They can go on there, or they can just email me at Cherylhasinbiller at WSDR4.org.
And then what is happening in March?
So I have 8 basketball teams that are planning on going. I have 24 bowling athletes, which also do basketball too as well. So I have that many athletes going to the big event that's going to be March 29th.
Wow.
And our 28th, Friday the 28th of March, and Saturday the March 29th. So Friday is going to be bowling, and then Saturday is our basketball tournament.
Where is this taking place?
Friday is going to be in the St. Charles area location. It'll be Frontier Lane, St. Charles Lane, Cave Springs, I guess.
Yeah, both days are in St. Charles, and we're big enough that we're using multiple facilities around.
Cool. That's really cool. Okay.
And then basketball will be at Lindenwood area, St. Charles School District area. And that'll be all day Saturday.
And this is statewide?
State competition.
Okay. Mm-hmm. State competition.
Yeah. We just had a regional event last weekend up at Cape. Cape.
That's really cool. So. Are you ready?
Always.
Always?
I'm ready to have fun. I'm not really worried about winning.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure I have fun.
Make sure you have fun. That's the number one goal. I like it. I like that goal in sports and in life, right? Cool. Okay. Is there anything I missed? Anything we need to chat about?
I don't think so. I mean, that state event is the next big volunteer opportunity. So if people are interested in seeing how we work or meeting our athletes, that would be the next big time to.
I think we need some volunteers for that weekend. That'd be awesome. Yeah. I mean, even like universities, like fraternities, like Stuco, any Stuco at the school district that need volunteer hours, they're just somo.org and go in and volunteer.
I'm sure you have different types of volunteers, but what would a volunteer do for the state, bowling competition or basketball competition?
Well, I'll talk a little bit, then you can talk a little bit about bowling, but there's all different types of bowling, like on the lanes, making sure the right athletes bowling, check-in area. Jocelyn kind of sets that up. They get to sign up online too.
Mm-hmm. So Jocelyn, tell me, what's it like a day in life of a volunteer then?
We try to make it in bite-sized pieces, so they're picking a 3 or 4 hour shift. Mm-hmm. And for this event in the end of March, there are different locations and a morning or afternoon shift that they can choose from. And from there, it would be choosing from different jobs. So helping on a bowling lane, checking in people at registration, helping with awards. We also on Saturday have some volunteer spots helping with our healthy athlete screenings. So we have trained physicians offering like a hearing or a vision screening.
Yeah.
And volunteers are just helping athletes through that process. So
Okay.
kind of being their buddy for the day.
Okay. I have one question. I am not a coach. So is one of your jobs as a director like to help someone become like a coach, or do you have to have coaching experience?
No, you don't have to have coaching experience. You know, a lot of times just come in and enjoy the time with the athletes.
Sure.
And if you have some experience, that's great.
Yeah. Like if you played the sport or something. I gotcha. That's so cool. Well, Marcus, good luck. Go get them. Have all the fun in the world.
Oh, I plan on it.
Yeah. Can people like spectate? Like, can you come watch the
Sure.
Special Olympics?
For
That'd
sure.
be fun. Okay. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. This
Thank
was
you for having us.
so fun and exciting. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
This is my first Olympic athlete I've ever met.
Ooh.
I'll have to get your autograph.
Claim to fame.
Yeah, so thank you. We really appreciate it and we're excited.